Hi, my name is Isa Sanders. I will be discussing the extent of how globalization is leading to cultural convergence in the modern world and what the consequences of this cultural convergence are. We will begin by understanding a few key words related to the question above, such as globalization and cultural convergence, as well as go over what some of the existing theories of cultural convergence are. We will then discuss the extent to which globalization leads to cultural convergence. Lastly, we will cover the consequences of cultural convergence within the modern world. I will now pass you on to my colleague, Ju Young.
Thank you, Isis. This is Ju Young. Culture can be described by the belief, customs, and way of life of a society of groups. The main elements of culture include language, religion, education, attitude, social structure, inspiration, and creativity. Cultural convergence describe contact and interact between two or more countries. Cultural convergence is the idea that multiple cultures combine together into one. Lastly, globalization is the process in which business and organizations influence or start operating in a global scale. According to Andrew Harrison, globalization is defined as the ability of people to travel, communicate, and work across an increasingly interconnected world. I will follow my colleague Aura.
Thank you, Julian. My name is Ola. First of all, we'll be discussing how globalization had impact on education in Africa. According to Gibson in 2007, globalization has caused changes in education, which is now accessible to distant cultures that did not have access to it before. This process is not only limited to educational opportunities, but international engagement opportunities also. Through education, an individual people can learn a new language, adapt religion principles and social structure, and attitudes are transferred, also having understanding about the environment they live in. The Western approach to education is different to Africa. As in the United Kingdom, for example, teamwork and in-class engagement is encouraged to build student self-confidence and enrich communication skills compared to Africa. In Nigeria, for example, where I come from, traditional school method was adopted, which is one-way teaching system by which the teacher would teach and then the students are not meant to participate except they are being questioned to do so. However, the Western approach is different, as the students are encouraged to communicate during the lecture. Students are allowed to, teamwork are encouraged, students are allowed to participate, comment while the lectures are going on. In Nigeria, that's not the case. Globalization has brought a change in Nigeria as foreign businesses and skilled people have come into the country to train and improve education by training and teaching teachers in schools on how to deliver the best training to students, and also learn how to teach foreign languages and make use of technologies to create a labor force that can penetrate the global market. I will now pass you to my colleague Gion to talk about the second element, which is language. Thank you.
Thank you, Ola. Another element to consider is language understanding. Multicultural communication is vital for any organization that has a diverse employees or have planned to have business abroad. For a business that limits opportunity to the market, they must be able to interact with consumer, supplier, and business partner with different language. Globalization has added to a growing interest in English language education worldwide. In response to the rise of English as a world rankings, international rankings, many schools have increased English language requirements. Many countries and businesses are now investing into running English language in order to stay competitive in the market as a business or gain employment as an individual, as communications the key in today's world. Currently, there are estimated 5,000 or 7,000 languages in the world, although it is thought that only 60 of them are widely spoken by about 75% of the world's population, and many of the smaller languages are disappearing. And I will follow the next is my colleague Huma.
The national culture is regarded to be something that should be protected and preserved. However, globalization causes a vast number of foreign products and values that are seen as an assault on national cultures of a country. International culture influences have become much more prominent during the rise of globalization, but culture in all regions have always been an amalgam of countless influences. For example, what we associate with certain countries often were first encountered and brought over by other countries, such as potatoes being seen as an Irish staple diet, chili peppers being widely used within Asian cuisine. These staples originated in America and were brought over. Tyler Cohen illustrates that we are to varying degrees, Western cultures base their philosophical heritage from the Greeks, religion from the Middle East, scientific base from Islamic words and the Chinese, and their core languages from population from Europe. Therefore, it is argued that it is best to think of national culture as being a hybrid of many influences over a long period, although this is not completely the full picture, as it is seen that when cultures are isolated, they are more likely to retain their languages, traditions, distinctive artifacts, counter-argument. Nevertheless, even isolated cultures have been exposed and influenced by outside sources at some point in history. The sculptural talents of Inuit people, who inhabit remote areas of North Canada, began to blossom after they were introduced to soapstone carving in 1948. This allowed the Inuit to be able to make more permanent materials, which in turn enabled them to export their art and earn income to support their traditional way of life. I'll pass you on to Isis now.
Thank you, Huma. I will now be discussing another element of culture that is affected by globalization, which is social structure. Globalization has led to the exposure of unfamiliar cultures and cultural practices. There is a view that the world's cultures are converging and that the Western or American culture is becoming dominant. Examples of this are the music that we listen to, the films that we listen to throughout the world have all originated from America and the American film industries. This view is supported by McLuhan, who agrees that a global culture has emerged due to globalization making a social norm for patterns of migration, but also the widespread use of media and social media, and lastly, international travel, which has exposed people to the same images from the same dominant cultures. I will now pass you on to Ola for the conclusion.
Thank you, Isil. In conclusion, we believe globalization has had large impact on cultural convergence. As business continue to grow and expand and go global, for example, Walmart, McDonald's, and Honda, these companies have had influence on taste, fashion, desire of wants in how the society operates today. Because as companies begin to go global, people begin to have different tastes, people begin to change their cultures, people begin to change their habits. And that's the sort of influence that globalization is having now on our society today. I'll pass you over to my colleague, Huma, to finish up the conclusion. Thank you.
We've explored the extent to which globalization is leading to cultural convergence, influencing education, language, social structure, resulting in a large impact of cultural convergence throughout Europe. This can be seen within our group. As for education purposes, we have all come together with our different backgrounds. For example, Ju Young coming from South Korea, Isis coming from California, and Ola coming from Nigeria, and myself coming from an English Kashmiri background. We have all had the same common goal, and this can be seen within the business, and that businesses have, like Microsoft, are now taking employees from different parts of the world and coming together to complete their one aim, which is to make more profits and become a global empire. And that's it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.